Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to another edition of A Funny Thing Happened on My Way to Success, a podcast where myself, Miguel Washington, interviews entertainers that are on the grind, people who are journeymen, singers, dancers, magicians, musicians, singers, ventriloquists, you name it, comedians, you name it. If you're on the grind and you're good, I'm going to have you on this podcast. Funny Thing Happened on My Way to Success is I guess a continuation of my book, A Funny Thing That Happened on My Way to Success. You can get this on Amazon. Very interesting book about funny stories throughout this 30-year career I've had on the road as a stand-up comedian. For those who don't know who I am, well, you're about to know who I am. Check out my podcast on all the podcast platforms, Spotify, iTunes. Check it out on YouTube if you want to see it. Under Miggy's World, under YouTube. Subscribe. Give me your comments. Let me know how you feel, what you think. Because all my interviews are, in my opinion, are very interesting. I'm learning a lot from my friends who I've been knowing for years on the cruise ships and on the road. And I found out a lot of things about them that I had not known about them. And it's very interesting. And I feel that you're going to think that they're interesting too. And like I said, I have a wide array of entertainers. And today is no exception. Today, I have a gentleman that he does magic. He does magic. And I'm surprised that I've never really met a young Black magician until I met this man here. Welcome to my podcast. He didn't know he was on yet. He was practicing. Give it up for my man, Malcom Puckery. What's up, Puck?
What's up?
How you doing, man? What were you doing? Let me see that. I thought you were like setting up. You knew I was coming to you, so you was doing a little magic thing for me. What was that?
I was practicing my card flourishes, man.
Oh, okay.
See, this one called the waterfall.
Okay.
That's a waterfall.
Right.
If you want to actually, I can freeze it.
Right. Okay. Not only is he a magician, he's a comedian as well. Malcom Puckery, man, thank you for coming on with me, man.
I appreciate it, brother.
How you doing?
Hanging in there, man. Ain't been on the ship since the end of March, so got a lot of free time to work on some new stuff and some old stuff and fix some stuff and be around the family.
See, now that's the thing about that. That's the positive thing, in my opinion, on being away for a while. It gives us a time as entertainers to rejuvenate, reflect, practice on some things, brush up on some things, but most important, spending time with the family because we're always gone. We're always on the grind, traveling.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Entertaining other families, and our families are at home, and now we get the time to spend with them. Where is your family, by the way? They ain't there, are they? Now they're supposed to be at home, spend time with your family, and you'll kick them out the house.
Well, my wife's the principal for high school, so she's been working the whole time. She hasn't been off at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's been working, and my stepsons are at work, and they're still working, and my daughters are with their mom because I have 7 days on, 7 days off. So
okay, all right, cool.
So
cool.
we split back and forth.
All right, so you kind of like chilling, working on the card tricks and everything. So
I'm just playing, man.
Right. Okay. So I
didn't know you was there, bro.
Right. You didn't know I was there?
No, heck no, man. I put him away.
Oh. I thought you were setting me up, man. I really did. I was like, oh, he gonna come in, have a little card trick ready for me. Okay. I got to tell the story. I remember telling you this story. You started laughing the first time I saw you perform.
Okay.
And I'll never forget, it was Royal Caribbean ship, and it was me and a singer named Adrian Fisher. And I've been knowing Adrian for a while. And so she said, hey, what you going to do tonight? I said, I'm going to the show and see this magician. She said, oh, it might be interesting. I said, yeah, I'm going to sit in the back. Because
if he sucked,
I can leave because I had already performed and they know who I am. And I don't want people, somebody take this off. I didn't want people to, see me walking out on the show. That's kind of disrespectful. But I had never seen you. I had never met you. And I always do that the first time I see somebody. I always sit in the back because I don't want to draw attention to myself. away from, not that I'm a big superstar or anything, but you know how it is on the cruise ship. If
most definitely,
Yeah, so you got, the attention's supposed to be on them. So I go to Puck show, and let me tell you something. I was blown away because you don't do comedy and magic. Like a lot of guys do comedy and magic.
Yeah, I'm not funny.
Right? No, you're funny. You just don't do it on your show.
Yeah.
You're just a straight up. I mean, if you are trying to be funny,
nah, man.
Oh,
okay, straight magic, man. Straight magic. Yeah.
Okay, then it's working. Then it's working, because if you try to be funny, it ain't working. Huh? But no, the first time I saw you, I was so blown away. Number one, by your tricks, your illusions, your setups, your professionalism. Your style was so smooth; it was like flawless. And I sat back there, and after the show, me and you do the trick with the cards with your dad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And dude, I had tears in my eyes when I saw that. And after the show, me and Adrian looked at each other and said, "Wow, now that was a show."
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah.
So tell me, how did you get into a young man from New York? From New York. Y'all used to make people's wallet disappear. You went into a whole new realm. So tell me about your upbringing, man. And I'm going to bring up the book. You know I am. So we'll
yeah. No, just a lot of guys start magic because they get a magic kid or something like that, from their parents for Christmas. But mine was a little different. I actually went to a carnival with my father for my birthday, and when I was there, the magician called me on stage, and I was really shy back then, like to the point where I would hide and nobody could find me in the house when I had company and stuff. I mean, I didn't like to be around other people.
Right.
So he brought me up there, and man, my leg is shaking. I'm real nervous, and everything he does fails for me, So he gives me a wand, and when he gives it to me, it falls apart, and the audience is laughing, and I'm like, oh. And then he takes it back and it goes stiff again and he hands it back to me and it breaks again. I'm like, damn. So then everybody's laughing. So he gives me a fan and the fan falls apart.
Right.
And everybody's laughing and it's like, I'm the brunt of the joke, but I'm a little kid and I'm thinking I broke it for real and I'm crying.
Right.
So finally he sends me off stage because he realizes that, I don't like being up there.
Right.
And my father was pissed. So my father was like, no, I'm going to take you to a shop and we're going to get you your own magic tricks so you can learn how to do magic and you can show him up later on. So we found a little booth. Yeah, we found a little booth. And he bought me my first trick. And I went home and, man, I played with that thing over and over and over. I was about 6 years old. And and I started doing it in school for my friends. And then they had a concert at my school. It was back in the 70s when the magic show was big on Broadway with that guy, Doug Henning from Canada.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be like Doug. So they had a concert and the concert theme was magic. And they were singing songs from the Broadway show. And they asked me if I could do some stuff. And that was the first time I'd ever went on stage in second grade. And I had a big old afro, top hat, cape.
So wait a minute. So how did you go from being just practicing the magic at home brought that shyness out of you?
Well, you know what? I was still nervous, but I had kind of, by doing tricks in class with some of my friends, I put myself on the spot and the teacher asked me and I couldn't say no. So it's like I was still scared to death when I got up there. But the crazy thing was once I got on stage, it kind of went away. It's like, I was nervous beforehand, but once I got up there, I was like, yo, this is kind of cool. I could do this for a minute, and I really got into it. And that was it. That just opened up the floodgates. And from that point on.
But you said you're 6 years old, right?
6. Yeah.
Now, kids, their mindset, the kids these days, they have so many different areas they can go to. Yeah. Back in the where are you from? Tell people where you're from.
I'm originally from New York. Mm-hmm. Grew up pretty much my whole life in New York. Grew up in Queens, and then we moved to a place called Roosevelt, New York. Roosevelt's on Long Island, where Eddie Murphy's from my neighborhood. Right. Public Enemy, Flavor Flav, Howard Stern, Julius Erving. Bunch of people.
You had to do something. Couldn't be a comic because Eddie couldn't do rap because Public Enemy.
Steve White was in my neighborhood too. Franz Cassius, all these stand-up.
Oh, geez, man!
All from Roosevelt. I was like, man,
wow.
Charlie Murphy. Yeah.
So you're the only magician, so that's the only thing you had to choose. You had to choose. Yeah. Everything else was taken.
I didn't have a choice, man. I had Damian Hall from Guy. He was from Roosevelt. So I had singers, I had comedians, actors. Yeah.
Wow. So being from Roosevelt, 6 years old, And you never steered away from magic?
I did magic all the way till I was 14, and then my father died. And when my father died, that was something that him and I kind of shared, because he was like my manager, and he always like he was my big support system. So when he died, I stopped doing magic. I just stopped, like bam, never touched magic again. And it was almost 20 years before I touched it again.
Whoa, 20 years?
Yeah, it was 20 years. Yeah, and I did other things. I was in the music business for a while. You know, I was trying to be a rapper.
Kennedy told you to get, bro, you better move on.
I work with a lot of people, man. Let me tell you, man.
Tell me some people you work with. Tell me some people you work with.
My producer at the time was a guy named Herbie Azar. He worked with, he was Salt and Pepper's producer, Dana Dane, people like that and stuff, man. So I worked with him, worked with a bunch of guys from Public Enemy and stuff. We worked out of their studio in Hempstead and stuff. So, yes, I mean, I was on the track to become a rapper, and then it got to a point where my mom was complaining I wasn't bringing any money home. I had left college at the time. I left college to become a rapper. And my mother was like, you know, you're not bringing any money in the house. You don't have a career. What are you going to do with your life?
Smith.
You know, and plus back then, rap wasn't really a financially viable
this was way
to
before
go.
Right.
Yeah, this is the early 80s, and you know, and back then rappers were doing it more for reputation, because they were still living at home and driving mom's car.
Right.
You know, I tell you, a few guys I gave rides to, man.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
Man. Now they big time rappers and stuff.
Right.
But my mom was on my case about it, to the point where I was like, I got to do something. And I met this producer. His name was General, but he was the manager of this guy named Tank. He was a singer. And he told me that he used to be in the military. He was like, maybe I should take a break and go in the military. And when I get back, he said, it's still going to be here. And then you'll be in a better position financially, and it'll give you a break to figure out exactly what it is you really want to do.
Was he a recruiter for the military?
Nah, man.
Who on the streets tell you, well, rap ain't working now. Maybe you should join the army and then come back when you get some money. Can we take GI loans?
We take the GI Bill. Oh, man. I look back at it, man.
I've heard of people giving wisdom, but I ain't never heard nobody say, man, you know what? This rap career ain't working. You know what you should do? You should join the army.
I look back at it now, man. Maybe he's trying to get me off the set, man.
I think so. Yeah. Apparently, like, man, maybe he'll get deployed over to Germany somewhere. And you did end up in Germany.
I did end up in Germany. 2 years in Germany, man.
His plan worked. You came back.
Crazy. I came back from the army, and all the guys I worked with, I was working with another producer named Eric Sadler, and then he became Eric Vietnam Sadler, and he became part of a thing called the Bomb Squad, where they produced everybody from Vanessa Williams, Boy George, Belle Biv DeVoe, I mean, just everybody in Public Enemy, all those people, and all the guys. Herbie had went on to have huge success with Salt and Pepper. They became big. Dana Dane became big. So everybody that I had worked with was now huge. You know what I mean? I was like, dang, man. I was working with Jay-Z. I was working with Jay-Z back in the day, and Jay was like kind of starting out, because Damon Dash, he's like almost part of the family and stuff, because his son is my nephew, Boogie Dash and stuff. So all of them just blew up, and I was like, damn, I shouldn't have left.
So wait a minute. When you came back, they didn't like welcome you back to the family and welcome you back to the crew?
Well, they helped me out a little bit, but it got to a point where it was so much competition at that point, and I had been out of the scene for so long, and I realized that it's a real cutthroat business. I mean, the music business is really, really cutthroat to a certain extent. And I was like, I couldn't compete, so I had to find another lane that I had less competition, and I ended up falling back into magic.
Well, here's the thing. It seems to me it's like a full circle. Your mama told you weren't bringing enough money in the house. Your homeboy said, listen, this rap ain't working out. You need to join the army. You come back, your set is blown up. They hang you around. You let you hang around for a little while. Then they say, hey, man, you ain't bringing no money in. What you need to do is go do some magic.
I know, right? Back where I started.
Right, but let's go back to where you started. 6th grade, 6 years old, you're doing magic. Your father's your mentor. Now, I got to say this. That story touches me because I was talking to a friend of mine, and it's those teachable moments that we miss, and your father didn't miss. He saw that you were afraid. He saw that this guy was using you as a butt of a joke. I mean, not maliciously, but it could have affected you as a child. And he flipped it and got you into something that you are now. And had your dad just say, forget about that. Don't worry. You don't know where you'd be right now.
I probably would have never fell into magic. I mean, him taking me to that magic shop was what sparked it all. And it wasn't even just there. It was the fact that he was so encouraging. Like, I remember when I got that show in second grade to be in the school concert, I didn't have any tricks really, except for that little sponge trick he bought me. Right. So he found a yellow pages and found a magic shop in the neighborhood. He took me there, and he got me a trick where I made a cane vanish and turn into handkerchiefs, and a trick where I would escape from some chains.
Right.
So he buys me these tricks, but they're real expensive. And he makes me lie to my mother about how much they cost, so she doesn't kill him when he comes home, that he spent all this money on my hobby, you know? So it's like he constantly helped nurture my hobby, because it was something that he saw I enjoyed and that I really liked. And the thing about it, like, I've got kids, and my kids, to get them to sit still and focus on something when they have so much stimulation going on, the video games, the TV, the phones and everything, But for me, it was like, I was so determined, so focused at a young age. I could sit still and read about magic and go to the library and get books and stuff, things that, they don't do nowadays.
For those young people who are watching, a library is a building with books in it that we used to go to read. We couldn't Google it. That's public service announcement right there. Okay.
The Dewey Decimal System.
Oh, you're going way back. But here's the thing: you didn't have like I have a grandson, and my grandson is about to he'll be a senior next year, and he has not found that one thing that he, like, for me, when I was growing up, it was music. I wanted to play music. My parents couldn't afford to give me an instrument. So I got into sports because that was the cheapest thing. And I was pretty good. But my true love was to play music. I wanted to play the drums first and then the saxophone. Nice. And then when I always told myself, when I got older, when I got enough money, I'm going to get me a saxophone. I'm going to learn how to play. And I eventually did. So it's amazing how to get the kids focused these days. Just sit down and focus on one thing, just one.
Yeah.
But do you think you would have been able to do that as a kid, like time machine forward 2000?
In these days, sometimes, probably. I mean, I don't know. Then it comes to nature.
Did you love magic that much, or was it the only thing to do? Is what
I don't know. Though. I think it comes down to nature and nurture. I mean, is it something that was inherent in me to have that drive and that focus on something that I could do it no matter what, stimulation and things I had around me, or is it something that was my environment that allowed me to do it? Because back then we didn't have, but outside or inside, that was it.
Right.
So I could be a little bit of both, maybe.
Did you reach that? Well, I guess in the second grade, I reached that fork in the road in the fifth grade, where I knew I was going to either go left with the hood. I had to find something to go right, and that's why I chose sports. I had to find something, because I knew had I not, I was going to go to that left side. Did you feel that way growing up in New York and Roosevelt?
Yeah, definitely. When not early on, but when I came back home, and when crack had hit New York, and New York was getting really wild, and I was in the music business, so I was surrounded with, the drug dealers and the rap and the rap stars all hang in the same places, and they're all considered celebrities, ghetto celebrities, Right. So I fell into that whole thing with them, and the thing that really did pull me out of it was going back to magic. It gave me something to really focus on.
So you said after you came back from the military. So, but before, like throughout high school, you never had that urge to go that route?
Yeah. all the times after I left Magic when I was 14, to the time I started getting back into Magic again 20 years later, my life was in turmoil. I was in tons of trouble from I got sent away to a juvenile facility for a year, for 18 months, upstate New York. Ended up staying 2 years upstate New York. I mean, I just was I was a rotten kid, you know. I put my mother through hell. So when I didn't have that Magic to focus on, excuse me, I went in some really bad directions. And then it wasn't until I found Magic again later on that I stopped with the foolishness and started focusing in on, you know, what was more important in my life and what direction I wanted to go in and where I wanted to be when I got older.
So when you went back to Magic, was it a sense of, did you feel like your father pulling you that way, or it's just something you just saw and said, I forgot about this, or how did that come about?
Well, I mean, my father died when I was 14, so I didn't. I mean, so when I got back into Magic,
I meant the memory.
Yeah, the memory definitely. I mean, it had a lot to do with it because it was kind of I felt closer to him again because it's something that him and I shared, you know. And I didn't have that anymore when he passed. So when I went back to Magic again, it was like I felt my father's presence definitely helping me and motivating me. Yeah.
So it wasn't your father's presence that pulled you back into. That's what I'm trying to get to. How did you go from wilding out
to getting back into Magic?
Yeah, I'm gonna make this disappear. I mean, how? Did you rob somebody and say, I got away? That's a disappearing act. I should put that in the show.
What actually happened was I was dating. I was home from college. I had dropped out of college after like a year. I was home. I was out of the Army. I was home, living at my mother's house, still dabbling a little bit with the music. I was waiting tables as a career because I had nothing else at that point. And I was dating a girl. And the girl said to me, she says, what are you going to do with your life? And I was like, to be honest with you, I have no idea. She's like, well, did you have anything that you liked to do when you was a kid? Do you have any hobbies? And I was like, I did Magic. She was like, get the yellow pages. And she got the yellow pages and she found a Magic shop not far from my house. And she said, let's go. And she drove and I was broke. I had no money. She drove me to the shop. And we got there, and the guy started blowing my mind doing stuff because Magic had evolved so much from when I had done it as a kid. The technology and everything, it was just crazy. And I was like, man, there was this one trick he did where he made this handkerchief float in the air and stuff. And I was like, ooh, I want that. And it was like $45. And she pulled out her credit card and she bought it for me.
Wow.
And I went home with that trick, and man, I was just sucked right back into Magic. It was like, you know,
that's it was because of her. A girlfriend. Are you still friends with her today?
The crazy thing was, I got sucked back into Magic so hard that all I did was just breathe, eat, sleep Magic. I mean, I was constantly reading and practicing it to the point where I started neglecting her.
She created a monster.
Yeah, and she was like, I can't compete with this. And we amicably split. Like years later, I ran into her and she was like, I'm so proud of you, you know, what you've done. I've seen you, you know, do different things and, you know, and she saw where my career had went. And she said, I like to think that I had something to do with it. I said, you had almost everything to do with it.
Wow.
You know, at that point in my life, I didn't know what I was going to do. And you brought me back.
Oh, did I lose you? Oh, man, don't tell me your internet went out. All right, we're going to take a brief pause because his internet went out. So we'll be back. First time this ever happened on my show. We'll be back in just a minute with
to a place.
Here he is. Okay, you froze, bro. I was doing a public service announcement. I was gonna take a pause. I was just about to hit the pause button. I was like, this brother froze like.
You know what's funny? I heard you, and you was like, his internet went out. I was like, why gotta be my internet?
Because mine is working just fine.
I can hear you.
Hey, watch the tape. When you watch the tape, you'll see it's on your end.
Florida right now. I'm in Florida, and right now we're in really bad rainy season. We're getting thunderstorms and stuff. So, so it could most definitely be my
So
my hookup.
You were saying that you ran into the girl, and she said she's so proud of you, and she had something to do with it.
Definitely and stuff. Because like we broke up totally as friends and stuff, but yeah, I got so focused into it, man. Like no one could talk to me. I was just laser focused, man, because it was like it was just not fun to do it, but I had my father's spirit shining on me. Plus, I'm doing something that I've forgotten about for so many years, and I had a genuine knack for it. You know what I mean? It was like something that just it fit like a glove, and it was like it came back to me, and it was just fun, reliving all of that. So.
This go sound straight. That was a great story. There was so many touching points on that. But the one thing that sticks out to me in that whole story that you gave me, you know what it is?
That we broke up? No.
No, that you guys are still friends. How do you do that? I know it's away from the magic. That's a trick right there. You break up with somebody.
I got two ex-wives, and we're friends. We're all like better friends now than when we were together.
I got two ex-wives, and I speak to neither one of them. I'm cordial with one, with my first wife, but my second wife. But you said break up as friends. I have yet to break up with somebody and be friends with them.
Wow. Yeah, I've been lucky that way, man.
You know why? Because people say, I trust my friends. If you break up with me, or if we break up because of something you did crazy, I don't trust you anymore.
Gotcha.
That's neither here nor there. Let's talk about magic. Let's go to the happy side.
So he gonna be, man, I hate her.
You're gonna go from a funny thing happened on my way to success. I just flipped out on my podcast and killed everybody in my house because I thought about
shot the dog.
Right. my Nala up there talking about, hey man, I had your back. Why are you coming at me? But no, man, I'm just amazed at your upbringing, what you went through. You took a 20-year hiatus from magic. You came back. How did you get to the cruise ships? Because that's where we met, on the cruise ships.
Wow. I had been working as an assistant for a very successful corporate and college entertainer, magician. His name was Denny Haney. He had a show called Denny and Lee. Mm-hmm. And he had toured the world. And I was his assistant for like 5 or 6 years as an apprentice, learning from him. And I also worked at his magic shop that he had in Baltimore. And a guy came in one time and had just moved in from Alaska and was living in Annapolis and wanted to put together this big illusion show. And he asked Denny if he knew of anybody that could help. And he told him about me. Mm-hmm. So this guy calls me. And I was like, his name was Curtis Carroll. He called me, and I was like, yeah. And he was like, yeah, I heard that, that you can help people, it's a system with magic. And I'm thinking, Denny, did Denny fire me? And the guy asked me, he says, I have a warehouse with all these big illusions that I bought. I'm putting together this big corporate show, and I want you to help me. And can you come by the warehouse and meet? So I went by the warehouse and I met him, and we talked for a little bit and hit it off really well. And before I left, he gave me a big hug, like one of them genuine hugs. And he gave me the keys to his warehouse and said if I need anything at all, to let myself in and take it. And I was like, I had never met anybody like that in my life.
Wow.
So then I go to Denny and I said, I met the guy, and he said, the reason why I sent him to you is because he works on cruise ships and he's very successful at it. And you want to work cruise ships. So if you want to be a millionaire, hang around people who have millions. So he sent me to him, and I told him I wanted to work ships. And what he did was, sight unseen, he talked to a guy named Patrick Carson at the time, who was the booker at Princess Cruise Line. Okay. And he got him to book me sight unseen direct.
Really?
And that was back 20 plus years ago. And it was on the Sun Princess, and they were filming that TV show at the time.
They
were filming that show Love Boat, the second wave, on there.
Right.
While we were doing the ship.
Wow. That was back in the 80s, wasn't it?
Yeah. No, it was
90s.
early 90s. Early 90s. And he got me on there, and we did 6 weeks, and I went on actually with my first wife. and stuff, and we had birds and all kind of crap in the show, man. I had a cat.
How did it go back then? How did the shows go? How did it?
It went okay, because we were really green and stuff. We weren't really good, but enough that they didn't kick us off the ship, but they didn't bring us right back either.
Okay.
Know?
But you
let us finish.
You knew some things you had to tighten up.
Oh, I knew it. You know, because when I saw the other acts, I was like, oh man, that's the level where we're supposed to be. We know we're even close to that. You know, I knew we weren't even close to what these guys were showing me.
But you weren't even doing shows. You was working at a magic shop.
Yeah, but I was doing some local shows, but nothing at the level that could have got me on a cruise ship.
Right.
It was his word. It was his word that got me there.
Right.
And I had and being an apprentice to Denny, I got to see a guy who crushed it every night, and I got to learn from him. You know, so I mean, I kind of knew what I needed to do. I just wasn't good at executing it because I hadn't had enough time on stage.
But see, you didn't just take it from there. This thing I love about you, brother, and this is God's honest truth. Not only do you do magic, you started building your own illusions.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing a lot of people don't even think of. That's thinking outside of the box. So how did you get into? Do you have like a DIY background? You one of those guys?
No. Actually, I just I'm working with this guy Denny. Denny was always pushing books on me all the time. So I would buy books constantly, and reading these old books is where, you know, they always say, if you want to keep a secret, put it in a book, you know, because people don't want to read. Right. But with magic, it's even more true, because guys always want to see videos. So I would read these books and learn all these old concepts and figure out ways to make them practical, to make them new. Right. And then I would find things that I couldn't build myself. I would find other guys who had expertise in certain, like electric guys or metalworking guys who work with plastics, and I would get them to make what I needed. And then sometimes what I ended up doing was marketing some of this stuff. So that way I could use the money I got from marketing it to pay to have it built, because I didn't have the upfront money to have some of the stuff built. And because about 60% of the stuff on my show was created from the ground up by myself, and also I work with another guy, Scott Alexander. So between him and I, about 60% of the stuff we created for the show. The other stuff might be some stock stuff, but I've changed it up a little bit so it has a different look.
Right. You know? See, now right there, that's right there blows my mind. That it's kind of like a comic. I don't even know how to put. I guess it's like a singer who's a great singer. They start writing their own stuff, or a musician who builds another instrument. Yeah. That's how I look at that. That's, you know, as a comic, you know, we use our imagination, we use our minds, we use that third eye, as Steve Harvey has put it, and we twist the truth. We tell you the story, and we just twist it a little bit. You think we're going right, we take you left. To just see a trick and to just say, I can build this thing. That's amazing.
It takes time. Sometimes, like, there's some ideas that I've come up with that's taken me 2, 3, 5 years to actually bring it from an idea in my head to actually making it really work and putting it in the show.
Give me one example. If you could, give me one example that you could explain.
The longest one is a trick I ended up putting out. It's called MIB, Message in a Bottle. Where I have the audience creates a story, and I open up a prediction, and written on this 25 long sheet of paper, length sheet of paper, is written the story that the audience just made up. And it was an idea that I had with my buddy Scott, and we couldn't figure out how to make it work. We tried all these different ideas, and then finally I built a prototype, and then I sent it out to a guy, and he tried to work on it, and nobody can make it work. And then finally we went back and let it sit for a while, and then went back and hit it again. It took about 2.5 years for us to finally get the first one built, the prototype. And it cost us a lot of money to have it built. And then it worked, and then we had to take it on the road and make it, you know, make sure that we troubleshot everything that could go wrong with it, and also make an entertaining routine with it, and make it, you know, a real fooler. Because usually if you're going to do a prediction trick, you got to have extra people, You got to have, you know, huge props. We figured out how to have something that used nobody outside of you, and the audience can't retrace how it worked. And the thing about it is it fits in your carry-on suitcase, and it looks like a normal object.
See, that's amazing to me, man. This is stuff I learned about this podcast, interviewing different people. A lot of things that I know you, but I don't know you. And I love that. See, now you know, okay, you froze again. Y'all must have a...
You froze a little bit too, man.
Oh, you gonna try to say, you froze too. You froze.
You froze first.
No, I know you, but I don't know you because all these things are very interesting to me, how other entertainers go about the steps to get to where they are. And apparently you still love the grind of what you do. It's, for me, okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. I still love it, but you know, when you have a lot of overhead, you gotta do it. But is there anything else that I would want to do as opposed to doing comedy? I don't think so. Yeah. You know, because I love it so much. Yeah. It's gotten me so much the past 30 years. It's taken me places I've never thought I'd, you know, ever see. Man, I saw the Eiffel Tower. I mean, not the Eiffel Tower. I saw the Leaning Tower of Pisa last summer.
Yeah.
I saw these. I'm taking a picture because of my comedy and working the cruise ships.
Yeah. We've been blessed, man. I think about the places that we've seen and the people we've met.
Right.
You know, I can't even think about it. I see so many people that I don't even remember half the names. When I see them, it's like we've sat and had long conversations, but I can't recall the name because I met that many people, and they're all so super talented and smart, and you know, I learned so much, you know, from, you know, the camaraderie that we have, especially working on the ships.
Yeah, that's the thing I miss about this whole time of being away, is that camaraderie. But it has changed, because when I first started on Princess back in back in 2004, I started on Princess. It used to be like 7 entertainers. It'll be 2 comics, a magician, an illusionist, a ventriloquist sometime, a balancing act, a juggler, and we'll all be on at the same time. And everybody went and supported everybody's shows. Every night was a different show. Yeah, every show. We ate together, we hung out together, we got off port, we did our thing together. And now it's like, you know, if you see one other entertainer on the ships now, you know, you're good. If not, then you like kind of on your own. And you froze again. This is gonna be the worst interview of Frozen Man. There you go. Now you're back. You should have told me I had a thunderstorm doing the interview. I would have rescheduled.
No, man. It's not thundering right now. I'm looking outside. Man, I got cheap internet, man. I don't know.
Is your data running low? Is that what it is? Your data is running low.
I don't understand it, man. I got 100 megabytes. I don't get it.
All right, before we go any further, let's talk about this book here. Finding Magic.
Yes.
Memoirs of a Magician. What inspired you to write this book? And for those, before I even go into that, you can get this on Amazon, right?
Yeah, you can get it on Amazon, or you can get it on my website, magicofpuck.com.
Magic of Puck?
Yeah, either The Magic of Puck, Magic of Puck, Puck Magic, any variation thereof will get you to my site. And if you get it on my site, I can personalize it for you. If you get it on Amazon, I can't. So
now, let me tell you, I haven't finished reading the book, but I've read, let me say, maybe almost a half of it. And this is interesting. What you talked about on this interview is just a slight peel of your life. Tell me what inspired you to write this, man?
I mean, I've always known I had a different life. When I would meet with people and when I tell them about what I've been through, they would always be like, wow, because their lives had been kind of, you know, normal. And mine was just very not normal from the second I was born, you know, living in a foster home till I was 5.
Right.
You know, it just kept elevating, you know, and getting crazier and crazier the older I got.
Right.
So I always knew that I wanted to at one point write about it, but I didn't think I had the ability to do it myself. I always thought I would have to do like Malcolm X, get Alex Haley to sit down with me and you know, as told to.
Right.
You know, one of those type of deals. And then it was Rodney, our boy Rodney Johnson. I was sitting with him, and Rodney had put out his book, 50 Posts and a Piece of Toast.
Right.
And he was like, that you can self-publish and this and that. And he was telling me, that I need to just sit down and just start doing it. And then my wife, my third wife.
Don't feel bad, bro. I'm on number 3 too.
Third
club.
Final.
Yes.
Final.
People talking about what, third time's the charm. No, 3 strikes and you're out. I'm not doing this again.
That's it, man. But she very smart woman, and she always encouraged me to write as well.
Right.
And I found out by being on the ships, it's the perfect environment to write, because you got so much time away off stage that
right.
I'm in the cabin. I get a bottle of wine, I play the cheese, and I just lock myself in the.
And you froze again. Now, I'm not going to
for the whole night. And just, yeah.
You keep freezing.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, wine, cheese, lock yourself in, go from there.
Yeah, no, it became very therapeutic. It became something that I needed to do, even if I was never even going to put it out, just to write it, just to be able to get inside my own head and see how I, why I do what I do and how I tick. It answered a lot of questions for me when I was writing it. I was like, man, I should really get some psychiatric help.
Because you told me some things about you, and I look at you, I'm like, man, I don't see that. You said, yeah, I hide it well.
Yeah. No, I really got caught up, just growing up without parents, till you're 5. Those are the most important years for nurturing, and I didn't have that. And then finally getting adopted, and then losing my father at 14. I only had him from 6 to 14.
See, to me, that's unimaginable, man.
And we were super close, and it's to the point he was my protector. Like, man, things he did for me was just incredible.
Right.
And when he passed away, I just said, screw it. I didn't care anymore. And I stopped going to school. I just started hanging with some really, really tough kids, and started getting, we robbing houses, and just got into drugs. Just really just went the deep end.
And all this is in the book. You don't leave any stones. You don't pull punches. You don't leave any stones unturned.
Now that everybody who's read it has come to me, and they've been like, damn, man, all you needed was a hug. Everybody who reads it, they can't believe that I'm not still screwed up.
Right, or in a straight jacket, or in jail somewhere.
Exactly.
I'm gonna give this book to my aunt. Now, my aunt loves to read, and I wish I would have gave her this book to read before the interview, because I would like to know what her opinion is. But I'm gonna call you and let you know what she says, because I'm like intrigued by this thing.
She's gonna be like, you know him?
Go invite him to the house.
I know. I had the silverware.
So you write your book, and what kind of success are you having with it?
I have not promoted it at all, and I've
really?
sold a lot of. I've not at all. I mean, because I just got bogged down with so many other things. But what I do is I sell it on the ship after my shows, and I've sold a lot of them after my shows. Yeah, I sold a lot.
And I was just about to order, because I had to get it re-edited, as you know, re-edited and edited again. I ain't gonna call no names, but anyway, I got it re-edited, and I was just about to order 1,000.
Wow!
When this right before this thing hit.
Oh man!
Yeah, thank goodness I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually putting together a keynote speech as we speak. I'm taking this course with this guy who's really successful at doing youth speaking, and I want to do high schools and colleges, and basically use my story and show how having a hobby, it doesn't have to be magic, but any kind of, creative outlet can definitely help keep you out of the things that I had to go through. And I had to learn the hard way, but to let them learn from my story, and my story, the good thing about, like, the guy wrote me the other day, he's like, man, I'm reading your book right now. And he's telling me the party he was at. He's like, I just can't believe it. And I says, well, I'll let you know this much. It's got a happy ending.
How do you know? I'm talking to you.
Yeah, definitely. You know what's funny? I wrote the book, and then I came into some information that made me go back and add another 50 pages to it. Okay, after I wrote the book.
So I need to go on Amazon and get the new updated version.
Yeah, I can send you the new updated version. But yeah, the updated version has 280 pages as opposed to the original. And it basically, it goes into, cause I start off, I'm adopted, I'm in a foster home. And then the last book ended when I was on America's Got Talent.
Right.
So it ended there. But now this takes it from what happened after America's Got Talent.
Okay.
And I ended up finding my biological family that I never knew who they were. And it turned out that my father turned out to be, I was named after him, and he was this famous jazz musician, and he was Billie Holiday's pianist for the last years of her life.
Oh.
Yeah, he wrote a jazz standard called Soul Eyes. It was recorded hundreds of times. It was recorded by, made famous by John Coltrane, and he wrote it for and stuff. I mean, this guy's got 100 albums under his own name, 70 with other bands and artists and stuff. He's played with everybody. And there's a documentary of him that I found online. So I found all this out after the fact.
Oh, okay.
So I put all of this in the book now, how I found them, which is another crazy story, how I just accidentally stumbled upon the information and find out who they were. And that's, and then finding them and then finding all my siblings. I have 6 siblings.
Whoa. Have you been in contact with them?
Oh yeah, my half brother has been to the house. My another sister up north and stuff. She's a singer and a performer in her own right. And me and her have hung out.
You let him in the house? No. Listen. My wife found out she has 3 sisters from her biological father, and I think a brother or 2. And I said, "Oh, that's great." But when we go meet them, we're going to meet them in a neutral place. Because you know them, but you don't know them. That's all I'm saying.
No, but I actually had long conversations with them way before I met them. It's like I met them like 6 months after we had been conversing back and forth for a while and stuff. And then my sister, half sister up north, she's a singer. And then the other one I met in LA when I was working at Magic Castle. She's a script supervisor for movies. And then I got a brother who's named Malcom. Just like me, because I was named Malcolm after my father, but my father didn't know about me, so he named his first son Malcolm.
Wow.
So, and he's in Miami, so we've met, and then I've got a sister Sarah, and her twin brother Michael, and they're in Belgium and stuff. Wow. So I've spoken with them, and then it's crazy. I put a video on Facebook of my father playing with Billie Holiday she's doing Strange Fruit. And the guy who did the documentary on my father, which is on YouTube, is called A Portrait of Mal Waldron. And he wrote me and he was like, I was good friends with your father. Matter of fact, I was with him the day before he died and this and that. And he tells me I have all his old correspondence between him and his kids and his mother before his mother died in 1970. Who would be my paternal grandmother.
Right.
So he sends me these letters, and this one letter was written May 10th, 1965. No, 1966.
Okay.
It was the month before I was born. And it said that this girl, Michelle, was looking for him to tell him that she's expecting his child. And it was me.
It was you.
It was me, and she sent me the letter, and he sent me the letter and everything. So he did know about me, So I'm not sure if he, found out after the fact,
right?
If I was born, if I was a boy, or whatever and stuff. But he definitely.
Wow, man! See, bro, I don't need to ask no questions. Just let you talk, man, because that's
crazy, man. And at one point, my biological mother, she was white Jewish woman, and that was crazy. A white Jewish woman with a black man in the 60s. So, that was it.
Well, that's probably another reason why he ran. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's in Paris performing. He's living in Paris at the time, and she wanted to go tell him that she was pregnant with me. So she borrowed money from a guy, Peter Yarrow, from Peter, Paul, and Mary, who she knew, and he knew my father.
Okay.
He gave her the money to fly to Paris to tell him she was pregnant. When she gets there, he was living with somebody else. So she turned around and came all the way back.
Oh. Wow. Man, listen. Hey, not only is my man talented magician, This book, man, it should be on Oprah's. But don't yeah, but don't ask Kevin Jordan how to do that. You'll never work again. It's an inside joke for those who don't know. Kevin Jordan is a friend of ours who got fired off Celebrity Cruise Line.
No, it was Holland. It was Holland America.
Holland, because he asked how could he get his book on. Now this is Kevin's story.
Yeah. Oprah. I guess they had the Oprah cruise, and they had the book club people. Yeah.
Right, and they did. The main lady was there, and he said he waited to the end, and then he raised his hand, and he said, "Yeah, my name is Kevin Jordan. I'm the comedian." He said, everybody turned around and said, "Oh, the comedian!" Yeah, they started clapping, and he said, "I wrote this book, and I just want to know how would I be able to get my book onto the thing." And the woman said, "You have to go through these channels," and they took pictures, and he sent me the pictures that he took, and the next thing you know, he said he get a letter saying he was fired because I told him why he got fired. I said, you outshined the lady who was there. It's just that simple. You made when they turned around and said, "Oh, the comedian started clapping," you were gone.
Yeah.
You should did it on the side.
Should have caught her on the way to the bathroom.
To the Windjammer or something. Get some food. So we know
it's funny. Me and Kevin grew up in the same neighborhood in Queens,
and that's another thing. And y'all
at the same time.
And that's another reason why you won the comedian. He's a comedian. He had that already. Him and Steve White had that already lined up.
Yeah, and he told me, it was funny. He read my book, and I tell the story in the book about how I feel so bad about it, but I stole a bicycle from this little kid.
Oh, and then you go frozen on me. See, is that witness protection? Are you trying to not perjure yourself?
Somebody stole my bike.
Hold on. Yeah, they went. You stole a bike from a little boy. Go.
And I feel really bad about it to this day, man. I feel bad about what I did. But somebody stole my bike, and to get even, I stole somebody else's bike. But Kevin always writes me. He's like, "Yeah, man, you stole my bike." He said, "That was my bike."
Does he really think it's his bike, or he just messing with you?
No, he just messing with me.
Oh, okay. Because I had a bike stolen too. Did you come down to Dallas, Texas? You come on somebody's back porch because somebody stole my bike.
Was it a Schwinn Stingray? No, man. I'm playing with you.
I had made mine into a chopper. And I had painted it, and we had like a back porch, but it was just a screen door. And, back then, wasn't nobody stealing nothing. And we used to sit them out there. And they left my sister's orange bike and took mine. Mine was orange. I painted it and chopped it and everything, man. And just walked away. Never saw the bike again.
It was big stealing bikes back in the day, man.
That was your identity. And, man, everybody was, like, hyped over my chopper, what I did to it, man. Because I was just watching all the other kids. I'm like, how'd you do that, man? You take this part, you
saw the fork off another bike and you put it on
I couldn't weld them on, but you had to figure out a way to put them, knock them on without bending where the tire go in, but make it secure enough at the top so it won't come off. Because I had one friend, he just put it on and tried to do a wheelie in the whole front. So yeah, man. Hey, Puck. So listen, man. We could go on. I'm gonna have to do a take 2 with you, man, because
I know you got bad
internet. Have so much interesting things going on in your life, and I haven't even tapped on the water yet. And I don't want this to run an hour and a half or 2 hours, and then they don't listen because it's so long. So we're gonna do a take 2 on another time, a part 2 on another time, and we could pick up on where you stole Kevin Jordan's bike. Maybe I have Kevin Jordan on as well. Because he said he wanted to do a lineup anyway. And he said he think he recognized the guy.
Put Kevin on the Zoom. Put Kevin on the Zoom. Oh, man. Oh, man. I wouldn't be able to stop laughing, man.
I know, right? I'm about to do a Zoom where I have me, you, Rodney, Kevin, Kiwi Rogers. Yeah. Who else can we put on here?
Kenny James.
Kenny ain't gonna come on. Because he gonna say, we're gonna try to make him do jokes. He ain't gonna want to come on.
He's painting.
Yeah, he's painting. Busy. Oh, but he's coming up on the podcast. So I got him. He came on, and yeah, he finally agreed to it, but it's good. But listen, Puck, I appreciate you, man. One more time, tell them how they can contact you.
My website is themagicofpuck.com, and all my videos and all my merchandise and everything can be found right on there. So, and also has my calendar, all the places I'll be at, which won't happen until probably August.
Right. August, that's soon? Mine, I don't go back out to November, bro.
I have a contract that I've been doing for 16 years out in Seattle, so I'm waiting to see if they're still trying to make it happen. So we'll see.
Right. And the book?
Binding Magic, Memoirs of a Magician. I'm also available on Amazon.com or on my website, again, themagicofpuck.com or puckmagic.com if it's easier.
Man, it is a pleasure interviewing you, talking to you. And listen, we got to do a take two because I have not even tapped on a lot of stuff that I wanted to talk about.
I get my internet fixed.
Yeah. That's really why I'm cutting this for short. You know I'm going to edit all this out.
You froze.
Hey, a funny thing happened on my way to success. I met my man Malcom Puckery, also known as just Puck. Man, thank you so much, man. And we're going to talk real soon.
Definitely, brother.
Get the internet fixed, bro. Talk to you later.
All right. Later.
You can purchase my book at Amazon. Also, listen to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all podcast platforms. Follow me on all social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Miggy's World _. Lastly, to experience and support everything I'm doing, go to my website, miggy'sworld.com. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week.